Hello everybody and welcome to the Sauropod Squad. Here on this channel our theme is dinosaurs, but our passion is for a variety of games. Now if that's your vibe, ladies and gentlemen, then welcome. You have found your herd. You can see I'm standing here in the start of the Jurassic herbivore pen. We've got Dryos and Stegos in here already, and they're getting a little bit bigger. Look at him, he's getting I mean, he doesn't get much bigger. He's a Dryo, but he's no longer hatchling. And then the Stego, I saw Stego just a few seconds ago. There she is, roaming around. Still kind of jittery, but maybe she'll get her jitters out when she gets fully grown. So, folks, the full focus of today's episode is to beautify the hell out of this area. Like I said in the last episode, I want to get this river going down here and kind of crossing underneath the path. I want to make the path better so it's not just dirt path blocks, right? I'm going to get gravel in here and some other substrates to kind of make it look nice and neat. And then right here when it goes under the river, when the river goes under the road, I want to get some sort of wooden bridge and make that look nice and neat. I also want to come in here and put a bunch of plants in, right? Last time we talked about having kind of a riparian zone with some palm trees, maybe some Joshua trees, with a little bit of kind of a redwood forest, a very small one, kind of bleeding in from that area and the rest of the Jurassic section in the park. And then over here, we're going to do something on the hills with some sort of trees. Now, I do need to address some concerns. You can hear there's a zombie underneath, so I got to get underground and kind of fix those areas, fix those caves, light them up. I also got to get rid of all of these monkeys because they don't exist here. They need to get out. And to do that, I think I just need my Pokeball, right? We have the one mob ball add-on, and we currently only have one mob ball, and it is over there in the lab, and it's got our Phalosaurus in there. So I think first step is first. We need to get these guys out, and I need to continue killing all the turtles. Get out of here. These guys are a problem in the park for sure, but the good thing is as I continue to develop this area and fence things off, I can go ahead and delete all the turtles that I see, and they just won't be a problem in the exhibit, right? So once I get rid of 100% of them, then we can kind of mark off this area as good. I saw it earlier when I was looking around. Where is it? Where is it? There's a nest. There it is. We'll get rid of all of these. We'll have no more problems with turtles in the exhibit here, and eventually we'll slowly push them back kind of out of the entire valley, but in time. However, let's go ahead and dive back into the lab here, and I've got an idea that one of you guys gave me to do with this Phalosaurus. Alright, so in the lab here with John Hammond, we've got our Phalosaurus. Where did I put him? Here he is. He is in our mob ball. And what I want to do with this guy is put him down below. One of you recommended that I make sort of a basement area to contain the Phalosauruses. And I actually really like that idea. So what I think we're going to do is down here in our maintenance area. I'm not exactly sure... Oh, did I not put a button? Alright, down here... Oh, and of course I need a button to get out. Down here, we're going to make it a little bit, not like an exhibit, I think just kind of like, honestly, like a dungeon, right? I'm thinking probably in this area, and then we can have like another entry or exit, or even like maybe a ladder. And I do want to come through here and like make it look really nice, but I think just for now... We're gonna get just a little bit of a holding pen for this guy. Scary! Let's sleep this off. Alright, nothing crazy. I think literally just kind of a fenced-off area down here will do the trick. And later we'll come back, and we can put all of our Phalosauruses down here, maybe get a few of them, and go from there. But I think we're just gonna go ahead and drop this guy in here. He's gonna be angry. But he is going to be stuck! You're supposed to be stuck! Why aren't you stuck? Can you climb walls? Hold on. Hold on. No way that was just because I put that there. I think he climbs walls, which I don't appreciate at all. We might have to contain him in an actual cell That's crazy. He will be producing these slime trails, which, I don't know, maybe we can grab them with the silk touch at some point and do something with them, I guess. Let's try that again. Are you good in there? Are you gonna climb? You're gonna climb. Okay, get in here. All right, I didn't think I'd really need to do this, but we're gonna go ahead and fully contain this guy so he can't get out. And yeah, later I guess we have to build like a metal cell for him, because I obviously don't want to just keep him in this dirt box here, but we'll do what we got to do for the meantime. I just need this mob ball to be free so I can use it and go from there. Okay, I think we're gonna do this. We're just gonna drop him in there and then close it up with a fence, and I think he should be good. He's gonna try to climb out, but he can't get out, and he'll just live in there for now. The good thing is if he does die or maybe even despawn, maybe we should name tag him. Nah, I'm not gonna worry about it. We get so many Failosauruses that we'll get another one in time in the lab. If this guy despawns, it is what it is. At least we'll know that is what they can do. But now that we have this mob ball available, I would like to just go kind of grab those monkeys and just get them out of the exhibit. Here, monkey, 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 monkey. Where'd they go? There they are. Okay, hopefully they all don't attack me when I grab one. Nope, he just looks at me like, what was that? Where did he go? Alright, real simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and drop him literally on the other side. So there you go, sir. Thanks for getting out of here. These monkeys, they're all over this valley, right? If you guys have been watching the whole series, you've seen them. They're all over the place in this valley. There's like quite a few spawns of them. And so I'm not too worried about like losing them, so to speak. And eventually, once we go make the zoo section over there, like way down the line, it might even be a year from now, right? Once we get all the dinosaur stuff done and the Cenozoic era stuff done, then we can start thinking about the zoo, even maybe cutting through the mountains and having the zoo on the other side if we run out of space. But anyway, these guys are our homies. They're essentially in the zoo, free roam, kind of like if you ever been to like, I know San Francisco Zoo has it, a few zoos have it, but they've got peacocks just kind of roaming free. That's kind of what we have. We just have monkeys. Now, unfortunately for the turtles, they don't get so lucky because I use them for food. And there's so many of them, they just gotta go. Alright, there's the last of our monkeys. Hanging out. Guys, make sure you don't wander too far over there. Chomper may or may not be able to reach over the walls, so fair warning on that. Now, one thing I do love about the Journey Maps mini-map up in the top corner here, and I'll zoom in for you guys, you can see, I can very easily see where these turtles are hiding, because they are little blips on the mini-map. And so it's actually not too hard for me just to kind of run around and find all of them. It's very tedious. I'm definitely getting a little tired of it. But we've talked in the past about using kill commands and all that, and I think realistically, just to play it safe, we'll just go ahead and manually kill all of these one by one. Again, once I get rid of all of them inside the exhibit, then we know we're never going to have to deal with them in here ever again. So it's just kind of another part to working on the zoo. First build the wall, second get rid of the turtles, and then go from there. Now, it also, I haven't shown this off in a while, it also, of course, is working on my Project MMO mod, which is giving me all these skills and stuff, so it's giving me a little bit of combat experience, which is nice. Not going to argue with that. Okay, I think that is all of the turtles, unless this is one right here. Where you at? Oh, he's underneath the ground. Okay. Follow me, folks, into the underground, the spectator mode. I try not to abuse this too much, but I'm just going to be real with you guys. I have played a lot of Minecraft in my life, and so lighting up tunnels underground, quote-unquote, the legit way, I'm just over it. So if you guys think this is cheating, it is. But I will definitely be using... Oh, look, there's even an Enderman down here. I definitely use spectator mode just to kind of get in here, and then I take the light and I just light it up. And this way, we don't have to deal with zombies and all sorts of stuff spawning in underneath us and just causing issues, and you know, I can hear it and stuff like that. So I usually spend a little bit of time going underneath the exhibits here in spectator mode just to kind of light up all the areas. Now this one's going to take me a long time because you can tell there's a lot of caves down here, but you know, if I go over here underneath the rest of the exhibits, you can see that I have already done that. It helps with lag, it helps with you know, generating things we actually want to spawn up on the surface. It helps a lot. So I'm just being real with you guys. I've got access to creative mode and spectator mode, and I use them very sparingly for the sake of, you know, my fun, time saving, stuff like that. This is let's call it a survival plus series. I'm doing everything. I'm building everything in survival. That's for sure. There's no commands or anything like that. I'm not hopping in creative mode. Ooh, hello. This is actually really good. I need to make sure that there's no zombies spawning, because these guys can actually kill our... Oh, God. Oh, God, he has an arrow. Where's my shield? Stop! Because he could actually kill our Dryos and stuff. So I'm actually glad I noticed this guy. Let's go ahead and run around and maybe light this up a little bit more. Yeah, really my goal in today's episode is to show you guys literally all the steps I take to make one of these exhibits, right? You saw the big wall last episode, and yeah, I feel like not a lot happened last episode, and I apologize for that, but the reality is, in this Minecraft series, I've got to spend a week doing something, and then present you guys what I did for the week. I want these videos to come out on Friday instead of kind of like randomly, and so since I am kind of trying to get them out on Friday, hello spider, I hear you. The reality is sometimes things just take a very long time, and this wall took me like 4 or 5 hours. So it was kind of like a whole day of work, just to get the walls up. So that is why that's all we got done last episode. But you know, we still got a lot of eggs and stuff hatched, and you know, it is what it is. But just want to make you guys aware that I am aware. It wasn't a ton of progress last episode in the grand scheme of things. I hope that's okay, because this wall itself was pretty grand. Alright, I think we have more or less lit this place up. I love that they updated the lighting, you know, a few years back, whatever it was, but, you know, they made it used to be light level 7 and below can spawn, so you'd get areas like this that actually can spawn, but no longer. If it's got a little bit of light, it's got to be light level 0, right? If it's got a little bit of light, that's the only way they can spawn, and that has dramatically changed the amount of torch spam you gotta do. Like, this is still torch spammy, guys, but if you didn't play back before that update, man, you'd have like twice, if not 3 times more torches. It was absurd. Oh, I see him. He thought he got away from me. I see you. You're hiding in the grass. You hatch. Not okay. Alright, well, let's shift our focus now to time-lapse number 1 of today. Ooh, yeah, that Enderman's still beneath me. Too close to rest. But let's go ahead and cut into a time-lapse of the river. I'm going to go ahead and first kind of just cut out an area, I think, in the ground that looks good, and then I'll come back through with... you know, the right textures, blocks for texturing, I mean, and then eventually actually add the water and try to get it all flowing. So I think step 1 is to come up here and plug this thing, and from there, we'll cut into a time-lapse. Also, I hope you guys are enjoying the music. I've been having to pick music that isn't going to get me DMCA'd and copyright claimed. So you guys are getting Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong songs and a bunch of old Nintendo songs. But anyway, enough blabbing. Let's get into a time-lapse. Oh, there's a hole there. I need to plug that. Alright, so that was just a quick and short one, but I think I have generally the layout that I want here. Obviously, things are going to change dramatically once I go grab some gravel and concrete, and a bunch of other little things here and there to make this look good. But this is generally the idea, and I've learned over in the Ceratosaurus exhibit, I can't really make it too deep. If you make it too deep, the creatures, they just kind of like get stuck on it and they don't swim as well, and we run the risk of them drowning. And so unfortunately, I think I got to make this river pretty much one deep. If we go ahead and take a look over at the Ceratosaurus exhibit, let me sleep real quick. If we take a look over here at the Ceratosaurus section, you can see we really kind of did a lot of gravel and stone and cobblestone to kind of be like rocky sections. Now, I'm going to do a little bit of this, but I want to mainly focus in on the gravel and the dirt and maybe some coarse dirt. But you can see over here, I actually do have it too deep. This is actually kind of fine, but really what I need to avoid is this section over here. I found Bully, our Ceratosaurus, stuck here, and that's because we had running water running into like the rest of the river, right? And so I realized I can't do that, and I actually filled it. And so we need kind of stagnant water always. So if there is running water, it can't be really too thick. This is fine because it pushes him here. But yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid a lot of deep spots like this, right? I don't want a dinosaur to get stuck like in between all these lily pads or something. Bully seems to be able to handle this, so it's fine. But I just want to avoid areas of conflict like this going forward, just in case. I also did decide, because there was the feeder here when I was digging, I was like, you know what, I don't want to blow up this feeder. That's a good little spot. So I think we're going to have a little bit of an island, which might, make some of the dinosaurs swim across the river a little bit to get to a little island with maybe a tree or two. I don't know. This could be a cool little spot. All right, but with this kind of preliminary area dug out, let's go ahead and run on over to our quarry. Or rather, our boring mine, and let's go stock up on some resources. Alright, down here in our cobblestone level boring mine, we have a slime that I'm going to have to deal with. But in here, we have, dirt and gravel. I guess I grabbed all my gravel. That's not great. Ooh, some tuff might be fun, though. Let's grab some tuff. And what else do we have in here? Andesite might look pretty good. Let's grab some andesite. Maybe some diorite. I used diorite last time to look like kind of whitewater rapids, so maybe we can add some of that. I am out of gravel, though. That's crazy. I might have to just run the machine with the cobblestone, the fossil machine we have, grind up some cobblestone into gravel, because I don't think I have gravel, unless there's a bunch sitting in here somewhere. I have 66 gravel in here. Great. That's a start. Okay, well. Let's go ahead and I might run the machine up in the fossil lab just for gravel. Hey, look at this. We can actually see Venom from the viewing platform. What up, Venom? How you doing in there, girl? Now, while I run back here, folks, I do want to let you guys know, in the last episode, we did get a bunch of eggs, and at one point I did mention, like, at the end of this episode, we can hatch all of these. I have decided to kind of pump the brakes on that. I really want to get a food section up and running, and so we will be doing kind of a food industrial area, mass production over in the industrial, like, park maintenance section. I will be doing that after this. Also, hello, zombie. Oh, it's not the zombie, it's the... Oh, he's gonna be loud. It's the guy underneath us. I didn't really realize he'd be so noisy. Oh, man, I might have to relocate him, actually, if he's that loud. Okay, well, give me some time in here. You can see I'm actually in the middle of a big transition, so we actually have a ton of sand that needs to get run through to get some more fossils, so... You know how it goes. Give me some hours. I'm gonna do some management in the back in the lab here, and then we'll cut here to another time lapse of me beautifying the river. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that time lapse. Quick one. We've got a bigger one and better one coming soon because, as you can see behind me, I've done a little bit of brainstorming on some of our areas here. Now, basically, I finished what you guys just saw with the river here. It's actually not even done. I was still kind of trying to figure out the ending here. I do think I've just come to the decision I am just going to continue until it, like, bam, hits the wall. And then on the other side, with the aloes, we'll worry about that later. I've got a pretty cool idea that I mentioned earlier. But yeah, after I finished the river, I started thinking about all the different plants that I wanted to use. And so that brought me back into the lab like usual. I feel like I'm spending a lot of time here in the lab. Oof. Fail on the door, of course, when I record. But if you look here, guys, I started what basically I feel like would be outside a research facility in a zoo, right? They always point out all the plants. And so I went ahead and started planting some of them. Some of them we've seen before, right? Like Temskia, we've got all over the place. But some are new, like this Dipteris. Over here, we've got the Sagittopterus. I also, for the fun, for us, really, we can see what era it was from, right? So this one's Triassic to Cretaceous. Again, I've said this a few times. The plants, I'm just going to do visually. I'm not going to go down to the level where, like, I only put this in Triassic. Well, I mean, this is a bad example because this one could go in the entire park. But my point is, if a thing is, like, only, this, like, Temskia is only Cretaceous, we're already using it here in Jurassic, right? So just look past that. That's going to be the one thing I'm not going to really try too hard on to be scientifically accurate. I'm more interested in what it looks like. But I figured, like, here, we can learn a little bit. Like, this is from the Triassic. Now, so what I did is I ran the machine up there. I got a bunch of these in the ground and started to look at them and find things that I wanted to use in the new exhibit. We also got this one, which is very noteworthy. I did not expect this to be a tree, but it ended up being a pretty cool looking tree, honestly, and I like it. It doesn't quite look like it fits in with the like redwood. That's okay. It does look like it's like a special tree that was planted outside the lab. So it's pretty cool. I like it. It's massive, but when we're far away, you can actually see it because it's so tall. So you see it pretty much with the profile of the lab. So I actually really kind of like it up there. But I went and grabbed a bunch of leaves and some trees and stuff. Hello, Dryo. And let me show you guys kind of what I'm thinking. All right, for this, I'm going to get into the spectator mode because I want to talk to you guys about what you're about to see with the time lapse. I'm going to completely get all the vegetation and pretty much the rest of the exhibit done once I cut to the time lapse. So let's go over the ideas. So first things first is I learned I need a lot more feeders. The herbivores, if they're hungry, they can eat certain plants. Certain ones you can't, and I don't really know which one is and which one's not. When I was looking through the wiki, some said yes, some said no. So essentially, we just need to keep our herbivores really well fed. Now, they end up searching for a feeder first before anything else, but they will go ahead. I was noticing them eating, like, just the raw grass. And it's fine if they get a little bit, right? I'm going to be adding a lot of plant life in here, but in general, we don't want them just eating the entire exhibit. That's, that's kind of not what we're looking for. And so with these feeders, I decided, okay, well, let's make each one basically a point of interest, right? So here in the road, which I also did a little bit of work on, you can see that we've got one there, and we've got the one that we're just at. Those are going to be the ones in the prairie. Now, in the prairie, the big open prairie, I'm thinking is going to look like this, more or less. Maybe some rocks here and there, right? Some added detail. But essentially, it's like a little bit of a dug-up ground because it's being dug out and eaten with all these herbivores. Some Joshua leaves and some of this guy, which is the Sagittopterus, one of the new fossilized plants that we resurrected. The riparian / river is going to look very tropical, essentially. It's going to have this. I like the little buttons, too. I've seen a lot of YouTubers do that in builds to look like rocks, and I think it does a lot, honestly, just to add stuff in your face, right, when you're building. And the more stuff you add, the more detailed it looks. And so I really like how this turned out, and then this is going to follow the river, basically all the sand, right? It's going to have stuff that looks like this, and then kind of blend into the prairie over here. Now, up here is going to be a big forest, and we're going to use Joshua trees, we're going to use baobab trees, and we're going to be using acacia trees, as well as the pine tree. I think this is the tall pine tree, so it's not fully grown like that one, but it's the tall sapling. Sorry, not pine, a palm. And then we've got this as well, which is the large horsetail, which is kind of cool. It's just a normal horsetail that you see. Those we have those in modern day, but they started way back in the dinosaurs. So this area is going to be pretty thick. I'm going to have the leaves, which are technically green maple leaves. I thought they were a good color. We're going to have those kind of around the base of the tree. And as long as I have those around the base of the tree and these tall palm saplings kind of in the middle, as well as the cattails on the trees, if I follow that, it's going to look like a bunch of clusters of trees with some grown stuff, which is going to be pretty cool. So that is going to pretty much span the whole side here. This feeder I'm calling the waterfall feeder, so it could be a little bit open, a little bit of a prairie. Basically, everything that we're doing here is because of the sight line of both the monorail and the road. So the whole exhibit needs to look good pretty much on this arc, right? So I want to keep the open areas open, and then the dense trees will be, well, really dense. But on that topic, this prairie is actually going to stay open all the way up here, and so this is going to be kind of our like alpine section here. I might grab some higher trees. There's pine trees. I mean it this time, pine trees, not palm trees. That could look good up in here, but I'm not sure. I might just keep the same situation down there. But yeah, basically this is an open prairie. I want to have a lot of specific open prairies for all these guys to kind of roam, right? Because that's where they would be. Then you can imagine the trees over there, the whole forest replicated kind of along here, and then there's this feeder up here that's actually going to be another little hidden prairie, but I want this one to be surrounded by trees. So if you're standing right here, you're kind of on like this oasis hillside. I think it'll be a really cool spot, because like, bam, just on cue, we've got the monorail. Look at that view with the distance horizons. I love it. Also, say hi to our Stegosaur, who has grown way bigger since I've been kind of, doing the time lapse and building out this exhibit. I think she's fully grown. She still needs a name. Nobody gave me a suggestion last time, so if you've got a good name for her, let's go for it. I will be making one of the males, Steve. I want to start naming them after some of our Path of Titans creatures, for those of you in the Sauropod Squad who have watched the Path of Titans series. But anyway, over here is going to be the redwood, and imagine this is exactly this. It's tried and true. It's what we've seen. It's the rest of the park. I just want a little bit of that bled over into this area, and maybe a little clearing in the middle here. So this is like a little grove of redwoods that they'll have access to. And then last but not least, we got the one by the road. That one's just kind of there. But over here, I've got kind of a cool plan. It has to do with rocks, a lot of rocks, and I'm going to leave it kind of up to you to wait and see what that looks like in the time lapse here. But I'm thinking something with granite, and it might be kind of cool. All right, everybody, but it's time for the time lapse. So let's sit back, kick back, and go grab that snack. This is going to be a little bit of a longer time lapse. I got a lot of work to do here. It's going to be really exciting. And when it's all said and done, I think we're going to have a brand new spanking Stegosaurus and Dryo exhibit filled to the brim, hopefully with a lot of detail. All right, guys, enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. The herbivore exhibit is complete. Let's get on down here to ground level and show you guys some of the detail that I worked on. Obviously, I just told you before the time lapse what we're doing here, but here's the final product. I personally love it. This feels like an actual ecosystem. I love the monorail going through here. And then something you guys might have caught on to with the time lapse is we've got a lot of these guys. I've been showing you eggs here and there throughout the time lapses, and yeah, I don't understand how many we have. If I'm honest, I have no idea. We can grab the Dinopedia and click on a few of them. This one's 3 days old. This one looks a little older, 18, but there is a lot. They just keep breeding and breeding and breeding, which is fine. I don't mind it. I want basically the maximum population in here, which says it's 10, but I think we have more than 10. Almost certainly we have more than 10. So I don't really know. Maybe like when they go to mate, they search around them. If there's 10, they won't. I'm not really sure. Or if it's just kind of telling us, hey, 10 is what you should aim for. But they can kind of just go crazy if we get to the point where there's so many of them that it's visually like kind of annoying. I don't know. I guess we can make a bunch of mob balls, and I don't know. We might have to take them to. I don't really want to say it, but take them to a slaughterhouse and collect the fossils for a fossil museum at the end. But it's just Minecraft. But with the finishing of this exhibit, there's quite a few vista views that we've gained. I'll even turn the HUD off for this. We've got this one right here, which is like the open prairie. We've got this feeder box vista view, which is the waterfall one I was telling you about. We've got this view up here at the kind of secluded little prairie area here. I didn't mean to come through here and put some like Joshua leaves and kind of make it feel more like down there, as well as dig out some of the ground. So just now realizing that's not done, but this view is still great. And then if we head back over here to this side of the park, of the exhibit, still have to do the bridge, although part of me's kind of liking that there is no bridge, so I don't know, maybe I'll leave it up to you guys. We could just kind of consider this a river crossing, because a bridge will be diagonal, which is a little bit harder to build. And now that I see it all natural, I don't know, I'm kind of like 50-50 on whether I want a bridge. So let me know if you guys want a bridge, what you think about that. But here's the redwood section that kind of bled over the wall, so to speak, and gives us this feeder in here, which is that kind of like secluded little redwood grove that they have access to. Also, something changed when I updated the game. If you remember with this plant, I used to break it and it would make 2 of them. That doesn't work anymore. Not sure what changed when going off the server and putting it into the single player, but using bone meal on this doesn't work, and breaking it doesn't like duplicate it. So the only way to get more of this now is to actually get them with fossils, which is a bummer because I was going to use these all over this place like we have in the the other sections of the parks, and I'm going to need a bunch in the Sauropod exhibit. But yeah, I don't know, might have to pivot to something else because these are going to be a lot rarer and harder to get. And finally, last but not least, we've got this area here that I wanted to kind of keep a little secret for you guys. I wanted to get like kind of a rocky, jagged area, and so I got some dripstone, I got some granite, and I got some dripstone block and gravel, as well as just a lot of the paved pathing right with the dirt. And I really like it. It's like just a little bit of a different area, right? And the whole exhibit just kind of gives it some variety. And I did make sure to be kind of careful that there's not really anywhere that they can walk up and then fall onto these dripstones. Most of them stick pretty high up, and we should be pretty good and not have to worry about any Dryos or Stegos impaling themselves on this dripstone. But yeah, guys, happy to introduce the Stegosaurus and Dryo exhibit. It is done enough to open it up. I do still have a few ideas that we could do kind of later. We can come back and kind of do different aspects of different exhibits, kind of like the Dilo. I have always planned to go back to the Dilo exhibit and like really overhaul the viewing platforms. Like, for example, this is definitely an official viewing platform that I don't have to change too much of. And you can see the sight line. You see over there by the dripstone. You can kind of see all the way over there. But something that we could do later is we could even extend the wall to kind of have, like, castle, railing, right? So imagine the top of a castle where you could actually walk along this, and this could be a whole path. And the whole point of this path could be to just explore the herbivore exhibit, and along the way, so we can put those signs like we did in the Diplodocus. Sorry, not Diplodocus, the Dimetrodon, the flyers. We've got some like information in there that tells like fun facts about the dinosaur, right? So we can do that here in for the Stegosauruses and the Dryos. But folks, if you guys want to throw out a bajillion names for the Dryos, like give me 5 each, and I'll just have a list of names to throw at these guys, and we'll get them named, and we'll come through here, pretty often to do zookeeper stuff and see them. But folks, I do think that is going to end the episode today. I'm extremely excited to have this one kind of done and dusted and part of the park. The park really feels like it's getting underway now. We've got herbivores, we've got carnivores. Coming up soon, we're going to do sauropods and allosauruses. We're obviously got to get way more of stegos in here as well, which is going to take a little bit more time with the lab back there. But of course, before all of that, like I mentioned, I do think we need to do kind of a bit of a food factory, so we might do the next few episodes focusing on the create mod and how to use the create mod and the trains underneath to transport everything. Not sure if I'll do the trains yet, but we definitely need at least a facility, be it chickens or cows or whatever I decide to go with. But everybody, that's it for today's episode. I'm going to let you guys get out of here. I hope you guys really enjoyed the episode. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all those YouTube stuff. It really does help. You know what helps the most? Watching the whole thing. So if you stuck it out, you've already done more than you need to. So thank you very much. But folks, as usual, the outro is long, just as long as the Stegosaurus's tail. I'm going to let you get out of here. Have a good one, everybody. Until next time, peace out.